Have you cried tears of being in pain, being bullied, being picked on, being the odd one out? I have. I was used to being bullied in primary school, where my weight was brought up a lot among friends about how big I was, but the experience of this one was very different. It was something that I had never been through before in my life. I received a punch right in my stomach that hurt a lot. And after it continued, just getting beaten up, it made me not the same person. I was always in tears, always in anger, because I wanted to have revenge, but I couldn't, because the way how the person was and how I would have fear, but I would take it out on other people. But when it came to him, I couldn't at all, because of how much I was in tears and how much I was in fear of him. I decided to go and play football again, and the person that used to bully me, I saw a complete transformation just by looking at him. He was nice, kind, he was being very friendly. I was shocked and surprised till he invited me to a youth group that's a part of his church, where I thought he's inviting me after 1 year of being bullied from him. But I thought, if he's changed, if he's different, then I want to come to see what I can do in my life. When I came to the place of the youth group, I saw many youth with happiness, joy, peace. And I was like, wow, this is something that I really want to have, because I didn't have it. I thank God for the opportunity that He has given me, and for the person that has helped me, the former bully, now my close friend.
Welcome to Finding Answers. Tonight we are talking about making changes right now, immediately. There's a difference between deciding to do something now and deciding to do something tomorrow. And some things you'll decide may never have a lasting effect, whether you choose to do something that very moment or tomorrow. However, there are things that you can have, an effect as to whether you would have done that decision a few days earlier or a few days later. That can have an effect even for years to come. And that's what we're talking about today. If you're going right now through something and you're pondering, deciding what you need to do, perhaps you're thinking that you can make a choice pertaining to that specific problem, next week, next month, next year. Or maybe it's something that's pressing you right now. I want to show you a picture, but before I tell you what this picture is about, I want you to have a look at this picture now. That's on your screen. Have a look at that picture. I will tell you still before the break what this picture is about. And that picture has something to do with the power of making a decision, making a change right now. Let's put that picture on the screen again. So you see there a man holding a child. That child doesn't seem to be very well. That's a very recent picture. That's only a few days old. Now, come back to me, please. I'm going to show you a video. And after this video, I'm going to tell you what this picture is about. But it has to do with the power of making decisions right now. Don't go anywhere.
Do you know where you're going wrong in your life? Do you find yourself looking after others but not yourself? Maybe you spend the majority of your time comparing yourself with others and feeling down. Some people put off making changes in their life over and over again. But what if you were told that you could make these changes now? Is there an area of your life that you would like to change? Is there an area of your life that you've tried changing? What if you've made some progress, but somehow ended up in the same spot you started in? Maybe you want to lose weight or improve your temper, be a better parent, or quit your addiction. Before you start making changes, it is important to understand how our brain works. When we are introduced to new concepts, our mind does tend to seek out ways that it will fail. But rather than jumping straight to the worst possible scenario, it is best to ask yourself, will this change make my life better than it presently is? If the answer is yes, then use it and make the change. Don't waste time judging it. Make sure you are aware that behavioural change is often difficult. Often you may fail along the way, and even if you do succeed, there may be negative side effects. But as long as you keep going in the right direction and stay focused on what you want to change, you can make these changes now.
So today we're talking about making changes now. What I want to find out from Victoria, good evening Victoria,
Good evening.
is what is it that stops people from making a change or making a decision right now? They know they need to change something and yet they don't do it at that very moment. What could stop them?
Well, I think most people, when they think of making a change, will set an arbitrary date, such as New Year's Day or Monday or your birthday. And that tends to be something that maybe we see in programs, in films. Very rarely will somebody just stand up and say, right, I'm going to make a change right now. Also, people like to prepare themselves. So if they say, I want to maybe change my career, change my relationship, leave a partner, lose weight, they like to prepare themselves psychologically. And that actually might be quite difficult to do if you say, I'm going to change it right now. But the problem with doing that is that you actually put more and more pressure on yourself. So say you want to make a change on Monday, and that's in a few days' time, you will then continuously think over the things that you want to change. But what you might find is that if you make a change right now, you are actually more likely to see it through.
Now, of course, there are people who want to make a change now, but they are stuck at a crossroads. They don't know what to do. They know they need to change something. They don't know perhaps how to do it or how to go about it, right?
Of course, people might know that there's something deep down inside them that they're not happy with. They might not be happy with a huge number of aspects in their life. If you really are stuck, it might actually be worth having a conversation with somebody, because you yourself, you might get to that crossroads and be totally stuck or be scared about moving forward. So it is worth having a conversation with somebody. This could be a friend or somebody actually that you've never spoken to before, and they could give you maybe the starting blocks for a way forward.
Now, I want to show you that picture again. Please, let's put the picture again on the screen. Again, that's a man holding a child that doesn't seem to be very well. So, let me just tell you this. If you feel right now that you are at a crossroads in your life and you feel desperate to make a change, perhaps a change in your body, perhaps your health, you haven't looked after yourself and your health very well. Perhaps you feel the need to make a change in how you treat your family, in how you go about your career. Perhaps you feel the need to make a change in your mind, in your mental health. And when I say mental health, not that you have a mental health problem per se, but you want to be more positive, you want to be more focused on the decisions you make. If that's how you feel right now, I'd like to pray for you. Our team of pastors are now ready to pray for you. The number to call if you want to make that choice to speak to someone, like Victoria said, sometimes you're stuck, you need to get someone to give you some pointers. And who better to speak to than God? I believe the pastors who will be praying for you can help you with that. The number to call is 020-7686-6300. You can also request for prayer with the names of yourself and your family via an email. And the email address is help@findinganswers.tv. Now, back to that picture. Don't show the picture just yet. One of our pastors in South America, a few days ago, only about 4 or 5 days ago, went to a small community in the country where he's posted with a team of people to go and pray for people, for families in their homes. Now, as he arrived to a specific house, they had been in that village, in that community for maybe half an hour. He arrived in this house and he went into the house to pray for that family. And in a house directly opposite to the house where he was, he started to hear people shouting. And when he came out, he saw what you just saw there on that picture. He actually took this picture. When he saw that man holding that child who's about, I think, 12 to 14 years old, that child is dead. And unfortunately, about 15 minutes earlier, that pastor got to that house, that child had just committed suicide. 13, 14 years old. If he had gotten there 15 minutes earlier, of course he didn't know what was happening in that family, but if he had gotten there 15 minutes earlier, perhaps he could have done something to help that family with an encouraging word, with a prayer. You know, the direction that family was going would have shifted. Unfortunately, he didn't know about this, and they got there a little bit too late. And I wanted to show you that picture exactly to give you the understanding that sometimes there are things in life you can't wait. You can't wait. You can't wait if you're bleeding, you have an accident, you're bleeding. You can't wait for tomorrow. You need to seek help from a doctor there and then. And maybe you have a pressing problem now. You're distressed with this problem. Maybe you've been waiting forever to make a decision. And the longer you wait, the worse the situation gets. Things don't get better just because you're waiting. Maybe you're watching me and you're sitting there on your sofa. You're there, sitting on your sofa with your remote control on your hands, looking at me and thinking, what if what this man is saying is true? What if prayer can help me? What if speaking to someone can shift the direction of my life? But up until now, you haven't done anything. You're there. Please, Pastor Abraham, pass me my phone there. You're there, sitting on the sofa. It's okay, come through, please, Pastor Abraham. You're there, sitting on the sofa, and you have a phone in your hands, a smartphone. You can email, you can call, and you're there. You're desperate. You feel like you don't know what to do. You're hopeless. You feel hopeless with your life. Perhaps you're thinking of ending your life. And the solution, the answer is there. You can say, listen, I'm going through a problem. What do? I need help. I don't know what to do. But maybe you're watching. You know you need to do something, but you don't. Listen, if you want help, speak to us now. The lines are open. 020-7686-6300. That's 020-7686-6300. Send us an email. Take your time. We'll have plenty of time throughout the program to read out your email. We only finish about 5 to 12, so we will have time to read your email if you want to. help@findinganswers.tv. Alternatively, if you like to use Twitter or Facebook, you can still contact us via Twitter, via Facebook. Victoria, as usual, will tell you how to do that.
So if you'd like to send us a tweet, just start your tweets with @FindAnswersTV, or you can talk to us via Facebook, just search for Finding Answers.
Let's go for a break, and while we go for a break, you can get in contact with us. In fact, you can do that throughout the whole program. Don't just wait for the break. Feel free to do that throughout the program. We are here to help you. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back.
All systems are go. We're about to...
I remember when I was 15, when I was first introduced to drugs. You'd think that an addiction wouldn't start. Smoking and selling and having sex, going to parties, it was like my escape zone. How I heard about the health center, I'll never forget that. It was a Friday. I had to say to myself, no, I need to stop. I've been clean for about 2-3 years.
All systems are go. We're about to
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and families as you want, it just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chica on the streets of London once again for finding answers. So, making changes is something that we all need to do at one time in our lives. But where do we start? Making a U-turn perhaps? Let's find out from the streets of London. Have you ever had to make a U-turn in life?
no, I don't think so as such. I had a plan in life, professionally, career-wise, and I'm sticking to that. And so far it's working out quite well.
Yeah, I would say so. I think in my career I was sort of going down one path and then had to make a decision to sort of go in a totally different direction. And it was quite difficult at the time, but I think it's definitely proved to be worth it since then.
Yeah, I believe I have when, like during my A-levels and I didn't get the grades I wanted, so I have to like repeat a year. So then I had to like deal with that. So I think that was a U-turn in my life while everyone else was like going on to university, but I had to like change.
I was going to study psychology, but then failed my A-levels, so couldn't. So I'm now at art school.
I just U-turned from all the gangs and that. You know, I've U-turned, and now, you know, now that changed my life, I feel better within myself. So, yeah, I believe you can.
So you can make a change right now. And you had someone there from your neck of the woods, psychology.
Well, she was planning on doing psychology.
She was planning, but she never got around to it.
No, she went to art school instead.
How hard is it to study psychology?
I find it quite easy, but then I didn't find any of my other subjects easy, so I suppose it depends on your interests. Everything's, I assume, as difficult as each other.
Right. So, but the key is to make up your mind you want to do it, or should you have a passion for it?
I took it by accident. And then absolutely fell in love with it. So, but I would suggest having an absolute passion in anything that you want to do, and then obviously it gets easier, you would hope.
Okay, so if you're passionate about something, that helps, but still being passionate and doing nothing doesn't solve the problem, right? You need to still take that step. I want you to meet right now Margaret, who's here with me, and she's going to tell us her amazing life transformation story.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
So, Margaret, tell us, first of all, welcome to the program, and thanks for being here. You went through a lot of things in your life, right, before you found a solution to your problems. But how far back do you remember your problem starting, and how did it start? What started happening?
It started when I was quite young. I was born in the West Indies. Although I grew up with my grandparents because my parents had came to England in the 50s and left me with my grandparents. It was a period where I never lacked anything. My grandparents weren't millionaires, but they were okay. You know, I didn't know what it was like to go without food or clothes or anything like that. I went to the best fee-paying school on the island, so I had the basis, which was very, very good.
Right.
And I also came from a very strong religious family. We lived in church, very religious, very God-fearing. So that was all part of the package. However, for me, there was always, although I was happy because I didn't lack love or material things, there was an emptiness from I was very young. I remember that.
Right.
I used to have a lot of nightmares as a child. I remember dreaming about being bitten by snakes and stuff, and I was about 8, 9 when all of this
Mhm.
started. And that was something that carried on right through my life until I was basically in my 40s.
Mhm.
My life was so up and down. Nothing ever went right for me.
Right. So, but when you say that nothing went right, what do you mean? As you were growing up, what kind of problems did you start to experience in your life?
Well, I used to just put it down to extreme bad luck.
Mhm.
Because everything I try, I never seem to be able to succeed
Mhm.
at it. There was a lot of obstacles. There was a lot of pain, a lot
Mhm.
of loneliness, emptiness, feeling this lack of love that I didn't actually get from my mom when I eventually came
Mhm.
to join her in England.
Am I right in saying that you went through some health problems as well?
Yes, I did.
Right.
I used to suffer from real chronic headaches.
Mhm.
So I used to take a lot of strong medication, like medication that they would give you after you've had an operation.
Mhm.
But even those would not work.
Right.
It was that bad. Nothing would relieve the headache. I suffered from asthma, so I used to have 2 pumps that I had to use about 3 times a day.
Mhm.
I had arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, which is apparently the worst form that you can actually become
Mhm.
quite
And you suffered with the arthritis for how long?
That must have been about 3-4 years.
Right. I recently heard in a program a couple of weeks ago that chronic headaches is one of the most debilitating pains you can go through. I don't know if Victoria knows anything about this. That it can really stop the person in their tracks. They can't work, they can't hear noise, they can't do anything. Is it going to be that bad?
Well, I know about migraines and that can affect you physically, so you're unable to move, and also it affects your sight, so you won't be able to walk, you can't see, and you have to stay in a dark room, so it is hugely debilitating. Yeah, that's right.
So is that the kind of thing you went through? Was it that bad?
It was bad, it was severe, because for me it would be like a stabbing pain.
Right.
It would be just like something is just stabbing me constantly in my head. So
but how often would you have those?
Oh, that was every day.
Every day?
Every day.
How did you get by? How did you go to work and try to live a normal life with?
I think, like with most things, you sort of adapted to it. It was there. No one really knew how much I was suffering because I just got to the point where I didn't say anything. I didn't moan. All I did was just carried on.
So you sort of gotten used to waking up with that headache every day and going to bed with the headache every day. So what we know about you until now is that you struggled with constant headaches, right? Chronic headaches. You had this bad asthma that you had to carry 2 pumps with you every day. You had rheumatoid arthritis, a lot of pain. You also tried to seek the solution for these problems in these strange places. What did you try to do to find a solution for these pains and these problems you had?
Okay, well, I used to go to palm readers,
right?
Witch doctors. I started doing that from I was 17. I started very young because even at that age, I knew that my life wasn't right. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was or how to resolve it. So I was just searching. And so if anyone said to me, oh, you know, this witch doctor is here from Africa in North London, even though I was living in South East, I would find myself in North London. So I went everywhere to everyone. I did everything I was told to do.
And you did that just to try to find a solution to your problem?
Yes.
When you say you did everything you were told, what do you mean by that?
Well, I drank potions, I bathed in all sorts of things.
What did you bath in?
They used to give me, they used to have different oils. I mean, when I think about it now, there was one particular person that It was so embarrassing, but when you're desperate and you would try anything. And I remember I had to be stripped naked in front of this man that I don't know. He mixed all these potions and oils and stuff, bathed me in it, got me to stand in a circle of fire. It was...
And you did that?
I did it. I did everything.
And you must have been very desperate with your problems to try that, right? Because even when you say it now, it sounds embarrassing. But also because now you are in a different frame of mind, you're free from all these problems. But I imagine if you tried that, and by the way, when you came here tonight, I didn't even know this. You just said it now, and thank you for sharing that, because there are people now watching us that perhaps have done something similar to that. And for you to be naked in front of someone you don't know, and the person has to bathe you, and you used to bathe yourself in all these oils and drank these potions, which, by the way, I'm sure you probably had to pay for.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because none of these things are free. And how much better did your life get?
It got worse.
It got worse?
Continually. Worse, day after day.
What was the worst point of your life, Margaret?
I think the day I decided to commit suicide, I think that was my lowest point.
Did you actually try to commit suicide?
I got all the tablets together. I had a young baby, and she was lying on the bed, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. And I was very young at the time. And so I gathered all the medication that I had, got the water ready, and then for some reason I just went and said to my father, if anything happened to me, you will look after my child, won't you? And he said, oh, of course I would. Why would you say something like that? And I went back upstairs, and he obviously thought that was a bit strange. And he followed me upstairs and found me. So that is why I didn't actually...
So he found you, you had already the tablets
everything
laid down,
there.
everything ready for you to take that step. Thank God you didn't, right?
Yeah, thank God.
And we're going to go and take a pause in her story right now. And before you hear how her life changed, if you have tried everything that people tried to tell you that it would work to solve your problem, and it hasn't, and perhaps things have only gotten worse, I want you to get in contact with us right now. And if you paid these people money, if you whatever they told you to do, you did it. Everything we do, our services, our prayers, our advice sessions, everything is free. We're here 7 days a week to help you. You don't have to pay anything. We're here, and what we offer, the faith we talk about, the God we talk about, that actually works, and you don't have to pay anything. And trust me, you won't have to stand in a circle of fire. Right, Miss Margaret?
No.
You won't have to stand in the middle of a circle of fire, bathing in any of these strange herbs like it happened with this lady here. But thank God you are a different person now. If you want to get in contact with us because you are in need of changing your life, then give us a call now, 020-7686-6300. Or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, this lady here, Margaret, will tell us how she learned to use her faith in such a way that her life changed. And by the way, if you were ready to do any of these things to change your life, when you came to the church and you learned about faith, then surely you would have used your faith when you learned about it. And that's what changed everything. Yes. We'll be right back.
All systems are go. We're about to...
you're a single mother suffering from a troubled past, then don't lose hope. There's always someone you can turn to. We understand. With all the challenges of everyday life, the financial responsibility, and the pressure of being a single parent, life can be overwhelming at times. Single parents and their children can flourish, but without the right support, a family can fall apart. The Tamar Group is there for lone parents who need guidance, support, and encouragement to get them through their everyday battles. Whether it's a group discussion, a mother and child bonding session, or some personal advice, we are here for you. Everyone needs a helping hand at one point or another. Let us be yours. For more information on our meetings and where the nearest Tamar Group is to you, then visit our website uckg.org/Tamar or give us a call on 020 7686 6000.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort, and homework from you.
All systems are go. We're about to
Okay, now during the break, I just found out something here about Miss Margaret. There is a chance that we will not have the participation of our pastor here with us at the end of the program like we usually have, because you have to tell us this. So you were saying that you went to all these palm readers, mediums, psychics, witch doctors, you name it. You tried it, you paid loads of money. You said on one instance you paid £800 to one of them. This was just one instance. And your life wasn't getting any better.
No.
It was getting only worse. But then to make matters worse, one day you decided that you would become a medium yourself.
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Well, since the very beginning when I started going to the palm readers and stuff, I was always told that they would say, why are you here? You can do this yourself.
But your life was a mess.
But my life was a mess. And I avoided it for years, although every person that I went to told me the same thing. You have the power to do this, so why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually...
But you couldn't do this for yourself?
For myself, no, because they can't. They themselves cannot read themselves. They would have to go to someone else to read them. So after years of avoiding it, I went to a certain spiritualist in East London, and that was where it happened. He owned a big school that trained people to become mediums and
you became one?
Yes.
Now, you were telling me during the break that people would come to you with problems, and you would do something, try to help them. They would even apparently recover. And let me just clarify here that if you go to someone who is a spiritualist, who is whatever you call it, and you happen to see a momentary recovery, you aren't free from your problems, because the only one who can take your problems away is God. It's the power of good. You can't fight evil with evil. So much so that you would go and these people would come to you and so on, but your life would keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You never had like an improvement, always you were getting worse.
Yes. I suffered, I couldn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't sleep at night at all. That was for years.
Mm-hmm.
I used to see shadows. I used to hear voices. All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So my life there was no peace.
Mm-hmm.
No peace at all. I was tormented.
Tell me one part of your life that was good.
Before coming?
Before you came to the church?
I would still say when I was very young.
No, okay, but just before you came to the church, did you have one area of your life that you could say that area was good, whether it was your love life, whether it was your health, whether it was your finances?
No, they were all right for a while, but then everything.
Mm-hmm.
I always say to people, it's like I was okay, and then one day I woke up and hell broke out, and that was it. Everything was just destroyed.
So people would look at you as this person who could help others, but you couldn't help yourself.
Yeah.
You see how sad that is. And sometimes the person thinks, well, I have this gift, I can help others, I can make others feel better. But then if you can't do that for yourself, surely there's something wrong. It's like me coming here to tell you that the God I serve can make you happy, but I'm not happy. Or the God I serve can heal you and I'm sick. Something's wrong. I mean, you've been now attending the church for, you were saying, since 99.
Yes.
And in that year, in all that time, have you ever seen coming to the church, finding one of our pastors there depressed, wanting to kill himself and saying, oh, today you need to pray for me because I'm not happy. Have you seen that?
No, not
Never.
at all.
Because, if you have life, then you can give life. But you couldn't give life to anyone because you didn't even have it for yourself. You didn't have light to give to others because you didn't have. Your life was upside down.
Yes.
Okay, listen, let's do this. After the break, Margaret, you're going to tell us how you came to the church and what your experience was in changing your life. If you are the kind of person right now who's watching me and you think, listen, I can deal with this myself. I can deal with the problems myself. I can even help others. But your life is a mess. Be honest for once. Just be honest. Look at yourself. Stop at your life and be honest and say to yourself, if things are not going well, then just say they're not going well. Just look for help. I mean, at that time, Margaret, did you think, were you ever honest with yourself and did you ever say, look, something's wrong? It can't be that my life is supposed to be like this. There must be something wrong.
Yes, all the time. I think that is why I was searching, but I was searching in the wrong places. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that God could help. It was never in my mind. That was never my thought that I could find help by finding God. Just didn't happen.
Okay. But you found help.
I did.
And you're going to tell us after. And by the way, Margaret was quite nervous before we started recording the program. And I told her that if she just smiles like she was smiling, because she has a beautiful smile, put the camera on her smile. Look at that, right? Her smile just lights up the whole studio. Right, Victoria? Absolutely. And if she just smiles, then that's half the job done. And today you can truly smile, right? Okay. You're going to see after the break why today she can smile. Don't go anywhere.
All systems are go. We're about to
The Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
When we want to reach our goals, we research, act, and make sure we know everything there is to know about that topic. We study hard because that is the intelligent thing to do. This is the same for our development as a Christian. The Faith School is designed for those who want a degree in spiritual growth, those who want to separate time to study the Holy Bible and follow God's path for their life. There is no admissions fee and it's suitable for every level of learner. You will learn how to interpret the Word of God for your daily life and become stronger internally. Do you want to find inner peace and spiritual strength? Then this course is for you. The Faith School, every Wednesday at your local UCKG Help Centre. For more information, call 020 7686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org.
All systems are go. We're about to
Life in the beginning seemed like it was spiraling downwards. I had so many addictions. I was addicted to pornography. I was sleeping around. My house was broken. There was constant fights in my house. It just seemed like there was no way out for me. You know, I was failing in my studies. I had no future. I had no prospects. I had no plan for my life. And it just seemed like, you know, hell just broke loose in my house, and there was just no other way for me to go than to continue the life that I was living. But then I had a friend who actually showed me that there was hope. He believed in me. Someone believed in me. And honestly speaking, before then, I didn't have no vision of hope. I didn't believe that something good can happen. Until when he gave me an opportunity, you know, he gave me advice and told me that, you know, my life could actually move forward, and that the life that I was living wasn't the life that I didn't have to live that kind of life. So today, I'm no longer addicted to pornography. My family's restored. My future's looking brighter. I'm not failing in my studies anymore, but I'm actually doing really well.
Tonight's story has truly been amazing, right? Even more than what we expected it to be. So much so that the program tonight has taken a different course. Now, we've only got a few minutes left, Margaret. What I'd like you to tell me is, first of all, how did you find out about the church? Who told you about the church?
The first time it was through a City News. That was
a newspaper of the church.
Yes, a newspaper that was put through my letterbox. And I remember on the day, my neighbor who was across the road, she received as well, and we both discussed this because we were reading the testimonies. We said, "My goodness, is this for real?"
Mm-hmm.
And we said, "Oh, we'll go and check it out sometime," but we never did.
Did it sound too good to be true?
It did, actually. Mm-hmm. It just didn't seem real. But we kept saying yes, but we never did. It was, I think, maybe about a year and a half later that we actually came to the church.
So it took you a year and a half. You didn't make a change now. It took you a year and a half.
Yes, yes, it did. And it was during that year and a half that I actually became a spiritualist medium.
Right.
And when I think about it, I thought, if only I had done then, if I'd made the decision then, when I had the City News, I would not have become this, and my life would not have, because, I mean, it got really bad.
Right.
Once I got involved in that, it was worse. So for me, it is regrettable that I didn't make the change when.
So when you came to the church, you know, what was it that started to change? What was the first change you saw when you first started to come to the church?
Okay, for me it was the sleepless nights. That was something that went very quickly. Even the sicknesses, the asthma, the chronic headaches, all of those went very quickly. So I was able to sleep. I didn't have the pains. Even where I used to hear voices and things like that as well for years, all of those things went very, very quickly.
Right. So almost immediately you started to see some changes, right? And actually, although there were some changes, they were important changes, because you, not being able to sleep is a serious problem. It's, you know, it affects your day-to-day life. And, you know, how long after attending the church were you completely delivered from, you know, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the need you had to go to all these kind of different people, and you even became one yourself? How long after attending were you free from that?
I think all in all about 12 months. 12 months, sorry.
So 12 ended ended years and years of pain.
Yes.
By the way, speaking of pain, you had the illnesses as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, how are you today, Margaret? How is your life today? How's your health? How's before you said you didn't have even one good area in your life. Not one thing was going right. What about now?
Okay, I wouldn't say that I don't have some problems. I do. But the difference now is I do not let the problems rule my life the way they did in the past.
But let me just say something. Problems are normal, but there are some problems that are abnormal. For example, sleepless nights are not normal.
Yeah.
Insomnia is not normal. Depression is not normal. Suicidal thoughts are not normal. Hearing voices is not normal. Diseases up and down your body are not normal, right? So are you free from those?
I'm free from all of those that I mentioned, yes.
Good. So those, because I want people to understand that even though you said you have problems, you don't have those anymore. That's the ones that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, how is your health now?
Well, I do have some health problem, but it's not what I came with. It's something that, you know, due to, they're not spiritually based. I would say. It's like, you know, you get, like for instance, high blood pressure, you know, something that's...
Okay, so things that are normally you can control.
Yeah, can be controlled,
but
yes.
All the asthma and the chronic headaches, all that kind of stuff, is that gone?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And in terms of you were so depressed and you had all these needs to go to all these spiritualist people, how are you now?
Oh, totally free.
Right.
Totally.
Are you, before you used to cry all the time, are you happy now?
Yes. Yes,
so
I am.
That smile means yes, right?
Yes.
What would you say today, Margaret, to people who, like you, who used to seek for answers in all these places that didn't give them answers? What would you say to them? What is your advice to them? What should they do?
My advice would be to make a decision now, and to seek a change. You know, like I said, I didn't take the step to come to the church, even though I knew of it. And because of that, I think I suffered greatly because of that.
You could have stopped your suffering a year and a half earlier.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
So for me, it is vital that if you have a situation and you're seeking a way out, then you need to make a decision and to do it immediately, not put it off for whatever reason that I put it off when I did.
Okay. So that's great. Thank you so much for your amazing story. I'm sure that you've helped and encouraged a lot of people. And I want to invite you right now for you to make a decision as well. If you're tired of struggling, tired of suffering, tired of, you know, putting off the transformation of life that you want, and you want to find a change, you want to find a solution to your problems, I believe that God can be the solution. Today, we're not going to make a prayer for two reasons. First, because we've run out of time, and secondly, because sometimes you just have to make a move. You just have to make a change right now. And you can choose to do that by visiting one of the churches, coming for a one-to-one session. And if you want, you can book an appointment now before the end of the program with the pastors that are there on the phone. The number is 020-7686-6300 if you'd like to book a one-to-one session with one of the pastors. Before we leave, Victoria has for you 3 important steps and practical steps that you can do before you make a change, or for you to make a change right now.
So I would usually talk about setting goals in the short term and long term, but when we talk about making changes now, I think maybe we need to talk about things that are slightly more profound. So the first one that I would suggest is to try and silence what I would call your inner critic. So that's yourself telling yourself that you can't do things. So people often put off making changes because they constantly have their internal critic telling them that they can't do it. And I know that does sound easier said than done, but you do need to try and give that a go. Now, the second one is don't avoid your feelings. Now, I've been talking recently to some people who have problems with weight loss, anorexia and obesity, and I've talked to them quite a lot about feeling your emotions. And often people who can't make changes do so because they want to avoid feeling anything. So people might fill a void with food, alcohol or drugs, but one thing you do need to do if you want to make a change right now is to actually feel your emotions. And the final one is refocus your attention. And randomly, I am going to quote Star Wars on this one. So what I don't want you to do is focus on the dark side. So Yoda may tell you, and I'm not going to do the voice, that you need to focus on the light side of the dark side. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you want to make a change and you want to stop smoking, for example, you can't focus on cigarettes or be it alcohol or drugs. You need to refocus on the nicer side. So what will you do instead of having that cigarette or instead of having that drink? And those things will steer you to making a change right now. So hopefully we've gone some way to help you making changes, and I hope you've enjoyed the program, and we'll see you same time tomorrow evening.